So today, on this auspicious full moon day, I will be giving you a small blessing and a talk on birth and death and the life after death. Some people had also asked me, what is the role and how relevant is the practice of yoga, and especially Kriya Yoga, in the process of expediting the evolution of the soul in the natural process of life after death. So I'll give you a brief as to what life after death would entail, and then I will talk about how by the practice of yoga you can expedite your evolution and don't have to go through all the processes of the life after death. It is said that birth and death are mere chapters in the life story, whilst you, as the river of livingness, flow on. Many a births and deaths have you been through, but you, the immortal Atma, the divine livingness, flows on, threading through it all the various personalities of life after life and death after death. So you must get this firmly fixed in your mind. I'm going to take off, get more comfortable. So, life and death are mere chapters, birth and death are mere chapters in the life story. Whereas you, as the river of livingness, flow on. You, the Atma, are immortal. The fire cannot burn it. The water cannot wet it. The weapons cannot pierce it. The breeze cannot dry it. For the soul is immortal, perfect and untainted as it goes through its journey of reincarnation till it works out all its karma and gets to a straight state of the karma-free state of liberation, of enlightenment, called moksha. So when a person passes through his life story, he accumulates all the various karmas, physical, emotional, mental and divine, corresponding to all the lokas or the planes of existence. Bhur, that is the physical plane. Bhuva, that is the astral plane. Swaha, that is the heavenly plane. So as it travels in its daily life, it accumulates a sum total of physical, passional, emotional, mental and intuitional karma. It also works many of these karmas or these deeds. These deeds are actions and reactions. So he does some actions in this life whose reactions can be paid off in this life or sorted out in this very life, right? But some of the actions of the reactions of the actions are not sorted out. So when the human body is old and dies, the soul passes out of the body and enters what it called into the after death state of life, the life after death. and it enters into the first stage for 72 hours or 3 days. It is on the earthly plane, which is called Pretlok or Mrityulok. Is the plane where people are bound to die. That means this earth plane. After 72 hours, the soul is able to disengage itself from the physical body, but is still in the trammels of the senses. So now all its sensual desires remain covering the soul, with its emotional and mental desires too. It roams for 10 days in the lower astral world, or in limbo, called the Pishachalok, the first stage of the Bardo. Of course, as I have told you before, that the Bardo Thodol and the Book of the Dead, all these ideas were taken from India, from the famous book of Garud Puran, and the Brahminical rites of the dead, which are performed by the Brahmins of India even today. After a person expires, his soul is given rest, peace, and onward spiritual progress by certain rites called the Shraddha. So when this soul, after 3 days, passes from Pretlok, the plane or the state of the dead, it goes into the state of nature spirits, ghouls, the limbo, the Pishachik state, the lower state of the Bardo. Here it tallies and tarries for 10 days. During these 10 days, certain rites are performed, which are spiritual mantras, and certain rituals which help to loosen the vibrations of the sensual body, which covers the emotional, mental, and intuitional bodies. And within all these bodies resides the Atma, the immortal you, the spirit of your soul. So these vibrations are done by the process of Shraddha, as I've told you. I won't go into the details. I'll just give you a passing reference, because if you want to go into the details, you have a former video of mine called The Life After Death. So then it passes to the Pishachalok, the lower astral plane, where its grosser desires are fulfilled. And by mantras, you see, everything is vibration in the universe. So by one sort of vibration which the Brahmins chant during the death ceremony or the Shraddha, there are those type of vibrations which loosen the desires of the Pishachik vibrations, the desires of the poltergeist, the lower spirits, those vibrations which are holding on to the soul which has the nature of a lower spirit, covered by these vibrations. Those vibrations are loosened by the other vibrations, by constant resonant frequency. It's a very scientific method. Then the soul passes on, relieved from its grosser vibrations of sensual desires. It passes on to the next plane, which is the astral plane, the emotional plane, Bhur Bhava. In this astral plane, from the Pishacha Yoni, from the birth of the lower poltergeist or spirit, it goes into the emotional plane. From the Pishacha, Pishacha, it goes to the Pitra Yoni, the state of the lunar ancestors. Actually, the 13th day is the last day where people finish with this reading of the Bhagavad Gita vibrations, reading of the Garud Puran vibrations, to release the soul from Pishachalok, that is the state of lower spirits, to the state of the ancestors, Pitralok, our ancestors, our forefathers. And when it goes to Pitralok, you see, in this, all its emotions and certain noble desires which were unfulfilled get fulfilled, and all actions which it has done for which other people are responding to. The actions where you have to pay off your karmic leisure, like you do an action, there's a reaction, there's an action, there's a reaction. So this karmic law takes place, and those actions which have not been paid for, which have not been atoned for, are atoned by the next series in Pitralok. You see, the loka, or the plane of the ancestors. You see, when Buddhism spread from India to Tibet and then to China and then to Japan, they all have these funeral rites for the ancestors. Of course, they are a reflection of what happens in India. So those rites are not very complete and more diluted form, whether they do it by rice and water offerings to ancestors. When you do this, the next vibrational coat, the emotional coat of karma, which is covering the soul, that coat gets dissolved by the constant mantra and vibrations which you do after the 13th day. Now this will last for 1 year till the next date of Shraddha, the next date where the soul had given up the body. The soul then travels on its journey from Pretlok, Bhur, Bhuva, and then it goes to the final state, from the ancestors to the state of the gods, the secondary gods, the devas, the shining ones, where all its good karmas, it pays off the debts of its good karmas and fulfills those good karmas which are due to it. If it has done a lot of good deeds, it suffers, sort of utilizes and enjoys the blessings of those good deeds. So, after this cycle is over, then the soul enjoys the heavenly spheres, the paradise. The purer the soul, the longer it stays in this heavenly paradise. It may stay 50 years, 100 years, 400 years, 4,000 years, depending upon the gravity. And a soul which enjoys so much of good karma usually doesn't have to suffer usually the lesser or the grosser karma. Then from there it starts its descent. On its descent it comes straight from the heavenly spheres to the astral spheres, from the astral to the etheric, and then takes birth into the womb of a divine mother, a good mother. That is the whole cycle of life after death, in brief. And when it returns, a lot of storage of its past karma, which is known as the collective subconscious, where its prarabdha karma, or stored up karma is. And each life is given a portion of its stored up karma. Stored up karma is called the sanchit karma, and that portion of that huge collective karma which is given in each individual life, reincarnating life, is called prarabdha karma. So it comes with its next set of prarabdha karma. It descends down from the heavenly spheres, from Swaha, Bhur, Bhuva and Bhur. So heavenly sphere, astral sphere and earthly sphere. And then it takes birth again into the womb of a mother and is reborn again till the next set of karma goes on. So this cycle of birth and death, this reincarnational cycle, carries on till not only the prarabdha karma of this life is exhausted, but also the sanchit karma of all its past lives is exhausted. And this may take a very long time for those souls who are very engrossed in materialism. It may take less time for those souls who are meditating and purifying their physical, etheric, astral, that is emotional, mental and intuitional bodies. Now we come to the next stage. Now the next stage what is the relevance of Kriya Yoga in the life after death? What I have told you people, that those who practice Kriya Yoga sincerely, or any form of Raj Yoga, or any type of yoga, their evolution is hastened and they don't go through the same rigmarole of the life after death. The journey is cut short and they go to the eternal abode, the haven of peace, called Brahma Nirvan or Nirvan Moksha. That is the final salvation. Because they have already worked out their grosser karma, their negative karma, in this living body by the practice of Kriya Yoga, Raj Yoga, Dhyan Yoga, or Bhakti Yoga. These are the different types of yogas. They differ in their speed of evolution. Kriya Yoga, which is essentially Raj Yoga, is said to be the lightning path and therefore gives you the fastest evolution. So when you sit down to practice, what happens when a Kriya Yogi, he sits down to practice, he first deals with his physical body, his physical karma. He does his proper yogic exercise, he has a proper healthy diet, conducive to good meditation and pranayam, and with that he perfects his physical body on this physical earth, making it healthy and strong to practice the higher forms of yoga. So first is diet and physical postures, which are called Ghatastha Yoga, not Hatha Yoga. Ghatastha Yoga means the yoga of the physical body, the Ghat, the physical body. And with proper exercise, yoga asanas and diet, he perfects this body in this very life. Then he goes on to the next stage, to the subtler stage of his passions, his emotions. Now these passions and senses, these passions which torment him or worry him through the senses or make him distracted through the 5 sense telephones of sight, taste, smell, hearing, that is sound and touch. These senses must be brought in control, and they are physically brought in control by a disciplined life, by the practice of repetitive vibrations called mantras. There are repetitive patterns of vibrations called mantras, and these repetitive patterns of vibrations smooth and sort out the negative vibrations of fear, lust, greed, jealousy, hatred, avarice, malice, all these negative dark vibrations which are inherent in the natural human being are cleansed by the power of mantras. That is a pattern of vibrational sound. For example, a mantra, Om Aing Ring Kling Chamundaya Vichya Yong Long Hum Kling Jung Saha Jwale 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 Prajal Prajal Aing Ring Kling Chamundaya Vichya Ral Hang Sang Lang Sang Fat Swaha Om Aing Ring Kling Chamundaya Vichya Om Aing Ring Kling Chamundaya Vichya Om Aing Ring Kling Chamundaya Vichya Om Aing Ring Kling Chamundaya Vichya. Now if I produce these vibrations in my body and mentally, they are sure to have an effect on the negative, slower, duller vibrations and dissolve them, push them out of existence, change the cycle, CPS, cycles per second of that vibration, and raise the vibration to a state of light, to a state of purity. Therefore, the importance of mantra yoga in the evolution of human consciousness, which also shortens the journey of the life after death. And after you do this, then you get on to higher states. When you get to the emotional body, from the physical body you get to the emotional, from the sensual body of lust, greed, the shadow ripus, you get to the emotional bodies, where you have emotional suffering, sorrow, pain, you have a certain greed. You still have refined qualities of those grosser sensual qualities, which you use the power of life force energy called pranayam. And when you use the pranayam in the yogic way, then it is very beneficial. It burns the seeds of past evil karma which are latent in the chakras of your spine. This is very important. And this is effective at the Pranamay Kosh, the Manomay Kosh, which is the astral body. So the emotions are purified and turned into devotions. This is the astral body which is purified by pranayama and by mantras. Then from the Manomay Kosh you go to the Vijnanmay Kosh, which is the mental body. That is from Pitralok you go to the lower Devlok. The astral body is Pitralok, or the astral lunar ancestors. Then you go to the solar ancestors who reside in the mind, in the Vijnanmay Kosh, in Devlok, the Devlok. And when you go into the Devlok, the land of the shining ones, there also you have the mantras like the Gayatri mantra, the Mahamrityunjay mantra. But this is done with the accompaniment of breath known as Sagarbha Pranayam. The pranayam which contains the seed sound of the mantra. Pranayam which does not contain the seed sound of a mantra is known as Nigarbha Pranayam. The pranayam which contains the seed sound of the mantra is known as Sagarbha Pranayam. This is used to cleanse and purify the Devlok body called the Vijnanmay Kosh. You see, all these bodies have a system of purification which is practiced in the science of Kriya Yoga. And therefore the relevance of Kriya Yoga in your day-to-day life, to cut short your life after death, the journey of the soul after death is cut short because you are working out your positive as well as negative karmas in this very life. And then you go to the higher, the intuitional body or the buddhic body, the higher body. This is also very, very important. And over there, you visualize light, you visualize sound, and you visualize vibration. The triple divine quality of the Omkar. You do the Omkar Kriya, the Shiva Shakti Kriya, and burn your past evil karma which are latent in your body and your spine. Then you still the ripples of thoughts in your mind's lake, so that the soul swan, the Hamsa, may fly out from your third eye into the spheres of the eternal spirit. Means you are getting moksha in this very life. You don't have to go through the bardo thadal. You don't have to go through the limbo or the purgatory period of the soul's journey after death, where you are tortured and punished for your bad karma and rewarded for your good karma. Your bad and good karma are sorted out in this very life by the practice of Raj Yoga and Kriya Yoga. So all glory be to Raj Yoga and Kriya Yoga. This is the gift from the ancient rishis and the land of India to the world. And India, no other gift to offer to the world. The science of Raj Yoga and Kriya Yoga would itself suffice as a kingly offering. Quote, Jnana Avatar Sri Yukteswar, who himself is working to speed up the evolution of the souls in one of the heavenly spheres called Hiranyalok, where all people from Nirvikalp Samadhi go to a higher state of Nirbij Samadhi. So this is the relevance of the practice. This is what the yogi does. He works out his limbo, his life after death, journey of the soul. He works out in this. So when the soul passes out of the body, when the body at the end of its life, say 85, 90 years, is worn out, this shining, liberated, pure soul passes out of the body. It does go swiftly through all the other spheres, of the physical sphere of Mrityulok, then the lower astral Gaul sphere of Pishachilok, then the emotional sphere of Pitralok, the astral sphere, and then goes to the shining sphere of Devlok, immediately gets established there. So this is the relevance of the practice of Raj Yoga and Kriya Yoga in today's life. And not only is it relevant in today's life, it is relevant in the life after, because it deals not with your physical, emotional and mental bodies, nor your intuitional soul. It deals with the liberation of the spirit that resides in your soul. And therefore it is so essential for us to practice this. Now let me tell you something very interesting. Whether a soul is in karmic debt and it has to pass through the whole rigmarole of the life after death, or a soul has newly attained to liberation, newly attained to Nirvikalpa Samadhi, it stands before a huge reality. The reality is called the supreme justice of the cosmos. The supreme justice of the cosmos in its cosmic form and of the solar system in its solar system form as Yama Dharma. He is known as Dharma. And this being is the supreme justice. He metes out the supreme justice to all souls who incarnate on this earth, whether they be normal souls who are striving for liberation and salvation, or they be great siddhas or rishis or yogis, or they may be avatars and great rishis who come to help mankind in their salvation. Before they come to this earth, they pass through him, and to the younger souls he blesses, but to the great ones who come on earth, who are like divine beings like the Christ and the Buddha and the Lord of Lords, Vasishtha and Atri and Bhrigu Rishi, the great mighty ones, he gets up and bows down to them. He pays them honor, washes their feet with the Lord Yam, the King of Kings, known as the Supreme Justice, washes the feet of Bhrigu and Vasishtha and all these great beings and all the great mighty Manus who are there before him, and respects them and gives them their seat of honor in his kingdom, in his loka, in his sphere. That is known as Yamlok. But his splendor is so much that they say that in the Shanti Parva, Bhishma has spoken about it, and it is said that Lord Ram, after he finished his avataric or divine ministry, his work on this earth, he also went to the realms of Yam, the great justice. And there Yam received him with great honor and facilitated him, made him sit on his golden throne, and then till he stayed there and returned back to his own abode, the final beatitude of Lord Ram. He returned to his own abode. So this person called Yamadharma, the Supreme Justice, is the great Maharaja. Below him is a person, a king called Chitragupta.